Hey everyone, this is Seth. I'm a mentor at Studio NPL, and I'm currently working on a series of videos about how to record and publish your own podcast at home using free tools and things you probably already have in your house. The first video I made in this series was about different types of microphones, recording techniques, and editing software you can use, but it's a little difficult to record a podcast all by yourself. So in this video, I'll be talking about ways that you can record a podcast with friends even though everybody's practicing social distancing right now. The best way to do this is probably ways you're already using to talk to your friends right now, whether it's phone calls or video chats with things like Google Hangouts, Zoom, and Skype. The only problem is that you have to find a way to be able to record this audio and so that you can edit it and publish it for other people to hear. The best way to get the recordings of each speaker on your podcast is to have each of them record their own audio at home and then send that all to whoever is going to be editing the podcast. Though it gives you the best quality, it's also the most complex though, because it requires everybody to not only have the equipment to record at home, but to be pretty knowledgeable in how to use that and everything. And also it makes it more complex because you have to record while you do your video call as well. So there's just more steps to it. And it also opens up kind of more doors for technical difficulties, or, maybe somebody didn't press record or somebody recorded with the wrong microphone. But it'll give you the best results because it allows your editor to use the noise effect tool I showed you in Audacity last time. If you choose to go this way where everyone records independently, then once you finish your recording and everything, you can export it as an MP3 file, a WAV file, however you want to do it, and you can send it to your editor using cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox, or even transfer services like WeTransfer. Though this is the way used by a lot of podcasters and will give you the most reliable audio quality, it also opens up the doors for a lot of technical difficulties, and it just makes it more complex. So there are a couple other ways that simplify this a little bit. So to simplify this, you can use a couple different tools to make it where only one person has to record everything, instead of everybody having to be recording their own audio. Video chat services like Zoom usually give you an opportunity to record your calls. Zoom will do this, and Zoom's a great video chat service. It actually, whenever you record them, gives you an audio file for each of your individual speakers, which is very nice for editing and being able to, edit out things or maybe clarify each of the speaker's microphone feed. But one technique Zoom uses to actually make their video calls more seamless and have less lag is that they compress their audio quality, so you wouldn't be getting the same as everybody recording their own microphones at home. Another tool you can use is Google Voice. Google Voice is a telephone number service that Google makes, where through your own Google account you can make a telephone number and use it like a regular telephone. And there are actually settings to record all of your incoming calls coming to that Google Voice number. The only issue is that it does give it that telephone texture and compresses it like an actual telephone. One solution I did find when researching for this video is a professional podcasting tool called Zencastr, which actually allows everybody to record over the internet and apparently records studio quality without any kind of digital compression of video chats or phone calls. Normally this is a paid service with pretty strict limitations on their free accounts, but while everyone's practicing social distancing, they've actually lowered a lot of the limits on their free accounts, so you can have unlimited guests and unlimited recording time per month, and it will record a local audio file for each of those people and send it to whoever's editing the podcast. So this is a free tool that I'd recommend checking out. So I've talked a little bit about some pros and cons of different ways of recording podcasts with friends during social distancing, but I want to talk about one more tip that applies to both methods of recording, and that tip is to use headphones whenever you record. Using headphones is pretty important because it allows each speaker's audio to be isolated and not bleeding over into somebody else's microphone recording, so it makes it more pleasant to listen to and a lot easier to edit. So as I said in the last video, if your recording solution records everything onto a single audio track, there's not a whole lot of editing you can do outside of what I showed you last time, using noise cancellation and basic cutting out different parts and kind of stitching things together if there's an or a big long silence or anything like that you want to cut out. But if you record things using multiple audio tracks, there's a little bit more editing you can do, and I have Audacity pulled up right here to show you some of that. This file that I've pulled up right here is actually, these are two of me just recording for a sample recording. As you can see, I left some time here at the beginning of each audio track for the editor to go in and cancel out the room noise using that noise cancellation feature I showed last time. But another thing that I have that is a really great tip if you're recording multiple audio tracks is this section right here. What this is a trick that some people use to synchronize their audio files. So each of these dots is actually supposed to be somebody saying a number. So this method is each speaker, they are counting to 5 together and bouncing back and forth with each number. So speaker 1 says 1, speaker 2 says 2, then 3, 4, and 5. The only problem is that they're not in sync right now because they started recording at different times, but this allows your editor to go in and time them up so it should sound like a natural conversation. So use the time shift tool up here and you just drag it so that what is supposed to be the first speaker saying the number 3 falls right in between speaker 2 saying 2 and 4 right there. So that's one way to retime everything. So now that these clips are synchronized like that, I'll show you one more edit in addition to all the other ones I showed you in the last video, and this is ways of retiming different audio tracks whenever you have multiple speakers. So with Audacity, obviously you can kind of use the selection tool to grab things and delete them, but that just drags things backward in time instead of letting you drag them and move them independently. So I'm going to undo that. And a way that you can make speaker 1 and speaker 2 not talk over each other right here is that you can actually split this clip and then drag this further down. Now, this error in this one is just made because I recorded both of these sample recordings and it's not actually a conversation with another person. I just made it for this demonstration, but things like that happen with if you're using a digital calling service. Sometimes there'll be lag that comes in there that gets in the way, or just naturally talking over each other. So one thing you can do is that you can retime it by using the split tool in Audacity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a part right here where I want to split it so that I can make everything on the other side of that line a new clip, and I can drag this down to retime it. So this tool is under the Edit menu. It's going to be under Clip Boundaries, and it's called Split. Right here you see the shortcut to do it if you're going to be using this a lot is Command-I on Mac. On PC that's going to be Control-I. So just click that and you see a thick black line right there, and that indicates that you can actually move the second part of that clip using the time shift tool up here, just like earlier. Just move that. So that's a more intense edit for editing together multiple podcast files if you record independently like that, but it helps your podcast sound a little bit more natural in the conversation, even though you're using some tools that sometimes make conversations a little awkward. That's about it for this video. I'll have a list pop up at the very end of all the different tools that I used and mentioned during this so that you can go and research them on your own and find which one fits you best. The next video I make in this series will be about how to publish your podcast so that you can share it with all your friends. Thanks for watching.